Welcome, adventurers. I've just played the best FPS roguelike of 2025. Deadzone Rogue is a challenging first-person shooter set in space that can be played solo or with up to 3 players. You'll explore a giant spaceship overrun with killer robots. You must clear sectors, collect loot, synergize your builds, and take on massive bosses. Now, earlier this year, it launched its early access, and now just a few months later, we've got a massive 1.0 launch. Over 20 new enemies, new bosses, new weapons, and an all new synergy system, plus the brand new zone that advances the story forward. Let me start by saying I did not expect this game to hook me for as long as it did, but here I am. When you begin, you awaken aboard a spaceship with no recollection of who you are. You'll launch your first mission from the hub, where you'll begin your first run. You'll clear one room after another of procedurally generated rooms, each rewarding you with your choice of upgrades, and you'll also gather loot as you take down enemies. Drops you can expect from enemies range from weapons and armor to scraps that are used to level up items and tech components which are used towards your permanent upgrades. How Deadzone differs is that upon entering a room, you'll always begin in a stealth state. In this stealth state, you can roam freely and you can use this time to identify the types of enemies you'll encounter or find the best vantage point to rain down on enemies, as well as moving these explosive barrels in these strategic positions. You can capitalize when you can make things go boom. You can expect to engage with a vast amount of enemies like these robotic spiders that swarm you, or these mindless brutes that rush you with melee attacks, and even these pesky robots that aid the enemies by providing them with things like healing and shields. These are just a fraction of the enemies you'll face, and every run feels different as there are so many variables in the game. Combat by far is the best part of the game. It strikes the perfect balance between challenging and the fun factor. You can expect intense and memorable firefights, cool and quick maneuvers that make you feel like a total badass when you pull them off, and loads of combat sequences you wish you had recorded. I promise you they do exist. Defeat is unavoidable, and when your run ends, you'll lose all your run's upgrades, but you grow stronger in death, and as you'll carry over your tech components that can be used at the console located at the starting hub. Here you'll be able to spend your tech components on permanent upgrades. You have your defense mastery that increases stats like your maximum health or your shields, or your damage mastery that increases things like the damage output of your weapons, and a utility mastery that upgrades things like your sprint speed or the amount of tech collected. Additionally, once you reach Zone 2, which is pretty much the game's second map, you'll be able to level up superior items, which are items you earn during your runs, and leveling these up here will level up the ones you acquire during your run. In the hub area, you'll also have access to a paint station where you can customize your individual weapon skins and suit appearance. You can also unlock more cosmetics as you complete missions or specific objectives. While out on a mission, you will occasionally find these logs that expand on the universe, and you'll even be able to visit your mailbox for a more in-depth conversations that leave clues on what exactly happened aboard the ship. Additionally, I just want to add how I really appreciated their storytelling approach, from the character's narration when entering a new room or the big surprises at the end of the missions. They really nailed the reveals. Honestly, at one point I half expected James Holden to walk in and tell me we had to destroy the proto molecule. And when you're done pumping yourself up at the spaceship's jukebox and you're ready to get back out there, you can select a zone and a mission type. You can think of zones as pretty much maps, and then you have your missions that come in 3 categories. You have your story mission that unlocks the next zone and progresses the story. Then you have specialty missions, which are fixed missions that usually come with their own loadout and enemy type. Then you have challenge missions, which are basically like a horde mode where you have to survive waves of enemies. Completing these missions the first time around reward you with new element types, augments, and even skins. Deadzone has a deep interconnected system, and at times it could feel like a lot, but I'll break it down. You'll typically start your run with a pistol, a basic grenade, and a knife. Upon clearing your first room, you'll be rewarded with a weapon cache, and you'll select a weapon. There are over 30 weapons in the game. Each drops with their own level, rarity tier, attributes, and elemental type. Between rooms, you'll encounter a fabricator station that you can use to level up gear, buy items, and reroll attributes. The game also has a detailed glossary that breaks down each elemental's effect. Some element types your items can roll with are Void, Fire, Cryo, and Lightning. And the 1.0 launch brought additional elements like Psychonic that somewhat works like Shran in Destiny 2 and Plasmal. Additionally, each element has additional abilities that activate. For example, the Cryo element can cause Chill, which reduces a target's speed, or Freeze that turns an enemy into an ice block. My go-to was the Lightning element that could activate Chain Lightning, or Shock, which increased the chance of a critical hit. Early in your run, you get to choose an augment as it influences the direction of your build. Whether you're going to build towards elemental damage or crit, it's vital to know your strengths. Additionally, you'll be able to earn primary perks, secondary perks, and items to grow stronger. Similar to how armor sets work, if you stack the correct upgrades, you can create a synergy and gain additional buffs. Deadzone's runs are longer than usual roguelikes, so you can expect some insane builds as you stack up your upgrades, and you're gonna need them. During your run, you can expect to fight unique mini-bosses along your way as you work your way up to a larger scale boss battle, and these are tough if you do not optimize your build. Even having just released a few days ago, the developers have already announced a free zone expansion coming early 2026, and apparently the story isn't over either. Very excited to see it. Even in its current state, the game has no shortage of content, and I can easily see myself banking about 40 to 50 hours into this game, and that's without really feeling restrained because the grind itself to level up your masteries is more than fair. And then it's all about skill and figuring out what builds you like the most. Anyway, Adventures, please let me know in the comments what you guys think of Deadzone Rogue. I need to steal some crazy build ideas out there, so please drop them in the comments. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, keep your head up, adventure forward, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.